Hello, I'm so happy you are here. My name is Dr. Kathy Kyle. I'm the CVMA Director of Wellness and DEI, and I'll be your moderator and also a presenter in the English section. My pronouns are she, her, and I walk through this life with anxiety and grateful that I'm on medication. And I'm also on an OCD, ADHD awareness and diagnosis journey as an older adult. And I'm coming to you from the traditional and unceded territory of the Siouxmic in the Shuswap Valley of British Columbia, where I'm honored to live, work, and play. So thank you for joining the CVMA and Togetherall webinar on the power of peers. Before I introduce my co-speaker today, just a note about psychological safety while on the webinar. And I get that it can be hard to talk about things that are on our mind, including our mental health. Let me reassure you, you are not alone. Help is available. You do not need to wait. There is help to be had. If you or someone you know needs help, please reach out to share your story and tell others. Some contacts and ideas for getting help are listed on the slide, and I will put these into the chat as we get going into the webinar. I also want to let you know that we have a support facilitator on the call today, and her name is Dr. Corinne Mayette. She just did a fantastic presentation on the Togetherall platform in French. And Dr. Corinne is a veterinarian with a master's degree in social work. Combining both worlds helps Corinne provide meaning to what she does. She offers mental health support to the veterinary community. And Corinne worked for 18 years with the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. Corinne is co-chair of the CVMA Wellness Committee, and I so appreciate that she brings her knowledge and expertise of social work into veterinary medicine, into the work we do on our committee for amazing folks like you. I am also, and so Dr. Corinne is available as our support facilitator. So you might be thinking, what is a support facilitator? Well, Corinne is available for both emotional and informational support during the webinar, anonymously and confidentially. So you can find her in the Zoom chat. And maybe, Corinne, if you haven't already, just say hello in the chat so people can find you easily. So you can reach out to Corinne if you have questions and want to remain anonymous and confidential. So maybe it's validating an idea or an understanding of a word or an idea used in the presentation. Maybe it's to ask questions about the CVMA Wellness and DEI program, like where to start. I'm not sure where to go, experiencing a wellness situation I have. Or maybe you don't know how to access something. Corinne can help you out on that. And any ideas for future presentations? Who knows, today's presentation may get you thinking about another topic that you would like CVMA to have webinar-wise. So please let her know, and then she can let me know as well. So with that, I have the pleasure of introducing my co-speaker today. And Mary Lynn Kiefer is a passionate mental health advocate and senior manager of partnerships in Togetherall. She was most recently the executive director of the Maid of Millions Foundation Canada, a mental health nonprofit organization. She is also an active member in the mental health community in Toronto and has completed a peer support training program. Prior to her advocacy work, she was a marketing and business development professional in both the financial and legal industries, as well as an event producer for Fortune 500 companies. Mary Lynn holds a master's degree and Bachelor of Arts degree in international economics and finance. So I welcome Mary Lynn to the webinar. And what I am going to do right this instant is I'll stop the sharing, and then I'm going to do the first bit on Togetherall. So before I do that, I'm just going to put in the chat the registration or login link. So I'll just give you a bit of context on the Togetherall. And when our mental health, and I can completely relate to what I'm just about to say, when our mental health is a bit fragile or at risk or vulnerable in the amazing work we all do as veterinarians and veterinary professionals, it might, not always, but it might be difficult to know who to talk to or where to get help, or perhaps find someone who gets our experience, yet is coming to that conversation with a listening ear without judgment or preconceived notion. It can be helpful to talk to someone who understands the pressures of vet med, they get our daily lives, but isn't necessarily a close work colleague or a friend in the work setting. For Canadian veterinarians and student veterinarians, one way this role is fulfilled, one moment here, I'm just going to make sure everyone gets in from the waiting room. One way this role is fulfilled is by the Togetherall platform. Togetherall provides a specific role-based veterinary medicine group for Canadian veterinarians and students to connect and share challenges, successes, struggles, and triumphs around their careers and interests. The Togetherall platform is also available to ABVTA members, so Alberta Veterinary Technology Association members, based on their membership. So I'll transition now to Mary Lynn so she can provide us a bit more background on the Togetherall platform, as well as a couple of the key features.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for joining us today. I do have a bit of a cold, so I apologize if I have to excuse myself to have a sip of water here. But really appreciate you all joining today. We will get into what the Togetherall platform looks like and how to navigate it, but just wanted to give you a bit of background on, how long we've been around. So Togetherall has been around for over 14 years, and so we're not new at this, like it's something that we've been working on for several years and trying to figure out the best way possible to make this experience the most beneficial for those who need it. We partner with groups in Canada, but then also in the UK and the US. And it is, of course, available to you veterinarians across Canada, but there's a very global community in terms of folks in different industries as well, different demographics, etc. However, as we will show, there is an option to chat with your peers amongst the veterinarian profession if that's what you would like to do. But there's also the option to just, enter the global community and chat with others. One thing I'll say off the top, there are people that feel like, I don't really know where to start. I don't know if I have really anything to share. It is a space where people like to come to give support and also get support. So if you're in your journey and you feel like you don't need any support right now, it is a wonderful place to also give support. I actually got involved in this space because of my own mental health journey with OCD, and peer support was like the top thing that really helped me along the way. And it's something that I continue to do even when I was in a better state and kind of had my symptoms under control, because it was so rewarding to be able to go and support other individuals by helping them in terms of sharing what worked for me. So just wanted to keep that in mind for you. If you're not, in any challenges right now, you can definitely go there for supporting others. And then I'll just say before turning it over to Kathy, two of the key features that I think are unique about this peer support community is it is monitored and moderated 24/7 by a team of licensed clinicians. And so, of course, you're amongst your peers, but there's that clinical oversight that's so important, especially when we're talking about, some sensitive topics. And then finally, it's anonymous and available 24/7. So there's, of course, still a lot of stigma when it comes to mental health. However, it is an anonymous platform, so at no point along the journey will anyone know that it's you that's on there. So you can share freely without any sort of judgment. So I'll turn it back over to Kathy. And it's good timing because I've run out of breath.
Good job, Mary Lynn. Take a deep breath, take a sip of water. So I put in the chat the direct link to register a login, as well as the link from the CVMA website. And that's where we are now. So I'll show you on the CVMA website where you can click. So it says, click here to join. You click here. And hopefully, if Zoom is cooperating, it will take you to, and maybe if I can just get a thumbs up from Corinne, hopefully you're seeing the Togetherall page. So if this is the first time you have come to this page, thank you. You'll see some information on the left-hand side: get support, take control, feel better. Welcome to Togetherall, a safe community to support your mental health 24/7. And that is so important. That 24/7, 365 is so important, because I bet there will be times where you want to reach out and you don't want to bother either a friend or a peer, maybe in your work environment late at night when they're in their pajamas and they're relaxing. You can type it and you can post it here and you'll hear back from a peer. I also really appreciate this connect with others experiencing similar feelings. You may want to go to the specific VetMed group and post something there. Or if you're like me and you want to connect with others who have anxiety, as Mary Lynn mentioned, Togetherall is worldwide. So you can connect to groups who have a shared mental health or life journey. The feel safe trained professionals are on hand 24/7. So important because that provides clinical oversight when we're on our closed group. And if somebody was to post something that could indicate harm to self or harm to others, like I can't take another day, that's where that trained mental health professional will come in and do a safety assessment and make sure that person is connected to safety resources. That really reassures me on the credibility and the validity of the program. And then staying anonymous. And I also appreciate that we get lots of feedback and results from Togetherall, all anonymous and confidential, but it helps us determine what we can do differently. So if this is the first time you're here, then you will create an account. So you'll either search for your organization. However, here from the CVMA website, the CVMA pops up as find eligible organization. So just leave that as the eligible organization, enter your email, you'll get a randomly generated name, and you really can't change that. That's Togetherall's method to ensure it's confidential and anonymous. Then you'd enter your password, answer a few more questions like date of birth, phone number, your postal code, your country, your preferred language, so English or French. So you have the option. Click, obviously, I have read and agreed, and submit details. Then you'll get a page pop up to say, check your email to verify. And there's a mention that it takes about 5 minutes. It really doesn't. It takes about a minute or two. However, a note about taking the time to register on the platform before you need it. Because I never want folks to think, oh, I'm going to contact a mental health professional or I'll go to Togetherall when I'm in dire straits. Don't wait until a crisis. This is why we're having these conversations to destigmatize mental health in the vet community. And even if you're a person who might know in the work environment, I know a veterinarian or student veterinarian who could really benefit from Togetherall. Let them know about the Togetherall platform and join and take the time to register. So then when you come back, then you'll have, as a new applicant to the Togetherall platform, a few more questions to answer, and then you're in the platform. If you're coming back, like I am, to log, I've registered, I'm a returning user, then I would click log in, and then it would be welcome back, put in your username or email address, and then continue. So that's a little bit of background on how to register or how to re-log in. So the link to register is in the chat. Hopefully I can give you some homework like in the next day or two. Do register so that you have the registration done, and then you can start exploring the platform, which we'll do now. So Mary Lynn's going to share a little bit more about the community that you'll experience once you get onto the Togetherall platform. So I will stop sharing, and there we go. Yeah, you're welcome.
Hopefully you see my screen. A lot of passing off screens here. But yeah, so this is, what things would look like once you have logged in. So once you register, I mean, it really and truly only takes about 2 to 3 minutes. But once you log in as a returning user, this is what it looks like. So in the top right-hand corner here, that's where it says my username, anonymous username, Tangible Boleen 44. So every time that you log into the platform, this is how you appear anonymously. So for example, this individual, Shiny Boat 02, we have no idea who that individual is. Anytime that they come to the platform and speak and chat or provide support to someone else, they'll always remain anonymous. In the middle here at the top, Ask a Wall Guide. That's our nickname for the clinicians that I mentioned. So at any point, if you do need some further support outside of the community, you can ask a wall guide. Of course, there are situations where we may not want to see certain posts because they could be triggering for us. So you have the option here to customize your feed. So to say, I'd like to see topics on anxiety, depression, etc. but I would like to avoid seeing any topics on PTSD or body image, for example. Or addiction, so there's certain topics that might be triggering for us. So there's, at no point do we want you to come to this platform and feel triggered. So we do have that feature. Going into what the actual community looks like. So here there's a series of individuals that have just recently posted. One individual is anxious. So this is obviously a US user. So today, and it's Thanksgiving today, I feel so nervous about having to drive a long way to see relatives. In times when I'm feeling extra depressed and stressed, leaving my home becomes a huge challenge. I don't know what to do to calm my nerves. So obviously this individual's sharing a very specific challenge that they're having right now, not related to the veterinarian profession or any profession, but simply just a challenge that's come up today. So again, all of these are relatively recently, so we only see one response here, but usually within, an hour or two, they'll have multiple replies. This individual talked about a panic attack, and they have, a few replies here from other individuals on the platform. So there are a couple of different ways that you can share. So you can create a post and actually write something similar to what I just showed you in the community where the individual shared about their anxiety about today. Or you can create a brick. So this is a more visual, expressive way where you can actually draw something using the paintbrush here, and you can express yourself through illustration. So that's what that looks like, and what the bricks actually look like. I'll just show you here. This takes a minute. So this is a variety of bricks that were created recently. Some of them are quotes and just text written in a way that's a little bit different. Some of it's, very more illustrations. Who knows what this little duck means, but something for somebody. Again, some text. I'm scared this is all I will ever be. So again, it really just depends on how people like to express themselves. Sometimes it's through words, sometimes it's through illustrations. Not going to create one now because this is a live community at all points. So I don't want to create sort of a mock up brick or anything because it's the clinicians are constantly overseeing this. So I don't want to, get them involved unnecessarily at this point. So you'll see up here, there's a number of tabs. I forgot to mention here, you can filter again by categories. So if you come to this platform and you are just strictly interested in reading about loneliness because you're feeling particularly lonely in the last, several months, and you want to just chat with other people in terms of how they're coping, you can do that. And then basically every single post that was tagged as loneliness would pop up. So this one is about separation. This one's about feeling lonely and not feeling like others truly like me. So, very personal and very specific examples. Then going into the groups. So this is where there are those role-based groups. This profile that I've created, I signed up for the veterinarian medicine group and the agricultural industry group. However, there are a number of others as well. So one for chiropractors, the ag industry, first responders, etc. So you have the option to go in here and join the veterinarian group. And this is where you'll see specific posts that are related only to the veterinarian groups. So I'm gonna stop sharing here. I know Kathy just wanted to share a few examples of how she's engaged with the community and the platform and groups specifically. And then I will share just some of the resources and then we'll finish it up.
Awesome. Thanks, Marilyn. You're a trooper. Another sip of water. Everyone, many folks are struggling with illness right now. So hopefully people are going to get some rest on the weekend. So going back to that role-based group, what I notice when I'm on there, I notice posts about sort of coming back to work after a mat leave, or chronic disabilities at work, financial difficulties, medical mistakes, being newly diagnosed with ADHD. And I see it's a really great way for folks to share confidential information because it is anonymous. I also appreciate that you could write it down maybe in a Google Keep or your notes and go back to it before you post. So you don't need to post it immediately. And that way you don't feel like you're having to trouble someone if you're thinking about something later on in the evening, or first thing in the morning, or you're on a different time zone than maybe one of your vet peers or your work friends. This way you can get it off your chest and just feel lighter that it's out there. And then as a peer responding, so I've been on and I've responded to posts. I realize that it's okay for me not to be a trained peer supporter. Maybe some of you think that, like, oh, I don't have experience as a peer supporter. Am I the right person to respond? Yes, you are, because we do have amazing skills and capabilities as veterinarians and veterinary professionals. I think back to the things I learned in veterinary school when it came to communication, and those are the core skills I use in responding. So I respond with empathy, validation, acknowledgement, and even just saying, I get it. And me too, as a post response really helps. And I also find that asking curious questions helps the other person find their way through. So, in reading a post about someone who is returning to work and kind of struggling with the schedule and doesn't know if there will be, time in the day to be able to leave, or what the norms will be to be able to leave early to pick up kids from daycare. When others ask the question, well, have you asked your manager? Have you asked your boss? That becomes the question that helps the other person realize, oh, I haven't. And that's a really good question. And now I will. So it really empowers them to find their way through it. So you're not giving them the answer, you're not giving them advice. You're just maybe giving a different perspective that they hadn't thought of, or give them enough confidence to start that conversation. And on the group page, you'll see that there are group principles listed, and they are respectful, non-judgmental, and empathetic. And I think if we keep those three core values in mind when we respond, we're going to do wonders on the platform. So yeah, just wanted to share that a little bit, because I think both as a peer being on there and posting, and then as a peer responding, I realize that there's something really valuable in what we do as veterinarians and veterinary professionals, is being able to shift perspectives, being able to look at things with a different eye, or have a reappraisal of a situation. And that's the value of peers. So I'll turn it over now to Mary Lynn. Hopefully you've taken a sip of hydrating water and you can tell us about the resources tab.
Okay, thank you. And thanks. I think it helps to give context with, specific examples of how what you've seen to be helpful and how you've engaged. So yeah, I think there's multiple reasons why people come to Togetherall, obviously to engage in the community. But there's also courses. So there's a number of courses here. So if you're someone that is more interested in just psychoeducation, which obviously can go a really long way in terms of any recovery from anything that you're dealing with, there are a number of courses. So this one is on drinking, improving your sleep, managing anger, PTSD, coping with grief, health anxiety. I know I have that. So there's, a number of different courses that you can do on your own time, and just more so for educational purposes. And then under resources, there are, again, additional tools. So there's like a goal setter and a journal. So sometimes people just want to have something to keep them accountable. So there is that option. And then these self-assessments where if, you're engaging in the platform, but you're like, I actually have always been curious if I do deal with anxiety, or if it's just something that is more, just a situational thing right now. You can take a number of self-assessments, so anxiety, concern about drinking, drug abuse, depression, managing emotions, etc. So not only is it a peer community, it's also very much like an educational space as well. And then the resources section below here. So articles and external resources. I'm not coming in as a CVMA member. So this, when you log in and register, will actually be all resources that are available to you all above and beyond Togetherall. So again, you'll have that option to click out to those resources if you needed additional support. Those resources, I think, are going to be being shared. And again, once you register, we are updating them. So you'll see the updated ones in the next few days, but you'll be able to have access to that. So I'm going to stop there, and then I'm going to hand it over to Kathy just to share a few more things and then close it out. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Marilyn. And if people do have questions, either come off mute or put them in the chat. We're happy to take them. So at the beginning, I mentioned that I'm on this journey as an older adult to better understand how my brain works. I call it neurodivineness, not neurodiversity. And what Marilyn just shared is the assessments. I did the assessment for OCD tendencies. And it was very validating. And then after I completed it, I realized I wasn't feeling maybe I was less embarrassed about the unique way that my brain works. I saw it as very advantageous. And then that piqued my interest to learn more. So then through the ABVMA Green Shield Plus, that's our member assistance plan, I was able to find a psychologist in my local community who specializes in ADHD and OCD. And I've had one appointment with him. I get 5 free ones as part of this member service. And I can't believe I get excited thinking about going to see him on Monday. I've gone to psychologists in the past, and in many cases, it feels like dread. Feeling excitement to see a psychologist is a great feeling. So I wanted to share that with you, that in this case, the Togetherall resource was a bridge to getting counseling. And then Marilyn mentioned those 3 resources. And when you're on the role-based specific vet med group, you'll see 3 resources that link back to resources we have on the CVMA website. The first is the Who You Gonna Call list. And this is a list of the Provincial Veterinary Medical Association's member resources plans. Like I just mentioned, the ABVMA has Green Shield Plus, enabling us to have counseling, nutritional help, legal advice, HR advice, cognitive behavioral therapy. So your provincial member program may offer different services. However, knowing that list and seeing all the phone numbers and websites is sort of a one-stop shop to have that, to know where to go to find those resources. And then we've also just recently launched CVMA Vet Connect. So this is a list of licensed psychologists, counselors, and social workers who are also either veterinarians or RVTs. So they have the lived experience of being a veterinarian. And that list is on our CVMA website. I think it's so important to get that sort of vet-focused help when you need it. And then we'll have one more PDF up there as well, just showing some of the CVMA resources. And with that, we've got like a minute to go. I really am excited to have you try the Togetherall platform. So please register. I'm sure all of us care about someone in the vet community who could use a helping hand. And I wish we could take away all the stressors of work and life, and we can't yet. By getting a problem or sharing something off our chest, it can really feel so much lighter, and a problem shared is a problem halved. So please, I'll give you homework in the next day or 2, register, and then we can really start to connect the 15,000 veterinarians and student veterinarians in Canada on this Togetherall Peer platform. We can make this happen.